You ever sit down to study? Open your laptop. Tell yourself that today is finally going to be productive. And then somehow, absolutely nothing happens. One video turns into 10. One notification turns into 30 minutes. You check your phone for just a second, and suddenly it's nighttime, and your entire day disappeared again. And honestly, the worst part is knowing you actually wanted to study. Every night you make these perfect plans in your head. Tomorrow I'm waking up early. Tomorrow I'm going to focus. Tomorrow I'll finally become disciplined. But when tomorrow comes, your brain suddenly wants to do literally anything except studying. And after repeating this cycle for weeks, you start thinking maybe you're just lazy. Maybe other students are naturally more disciplined. Maybe you're just not built for consistency. But the truth is, most students are not bad at studying. They just keep trying to follow routines that their brain was never going to follow in the first place. The problem with most study routines is that they're made for your fantasy version of yourself, not the real one. Your fantasy self wakes up at 5 a.m., drinks coffee, studies for 6 hours straight, never checks social media, never gets distracted, never feels tired. But real life doesn't work like that. Most students go from studying 0 hours a day to suddenly trying to become productivity machines overnight. And for the first day, it actually feels exciting. You make a perfect timetable. You clean your desk. You watch motivational videos. You genuinely believe this is finally your comeback. But after 2 or 3 days, everything crashes. Because motivation is emotional, and emotions are temporary. Some days you'll feel motivated. Some days you'll feel completely exhausted. That's why the students who become consistent aren't the students who feel motivated every day. They're the students who make studying easy enough to continue even on bad days. And that changes everything. Here's something most lazy students don't realize. You probably don't hate studying itself. You hate starting. Because in your head, studying feels huge. Your brain hears, study for 5 hours, finish 3 chapters, fix your entire life tonight, and instantly, it feels exhausting before you even begin. So instead of starting, you procrastinate. But one of the easiest ways to become more consistent is to stop making studying feel so heavy. Don't tell yourself, I need to study everything. Tell yourself, I'll study for 5 minutes. That's it. Just 5 minutes. Open the book. Read 1 page. Write messy notes. Solve 2 questions badly if you have to. Because once your brain realizes the task isn't painful, resistance starts disappearing. And most of the time, starting is the hardest part. Not the studying itself. Momentum is what creates motivation, not the other way around. So if you actually want a study routine that works, stop trying to build the perfect routine. Build one that feels easy to repeat. The first thing you need to do is remove friction, because every extra step gives your brain another chance to quit. If your books are hidden somewhere, you probably won't study. If your desk is messy, your brain feels messy too. If your phone is beside you, your attention is already gone before you even begin. So make studying easier to start. Keep your notebook open. Keep your desk clean enough. Put your phone far away. Make the good habit easier than the bad one. The second thing is this. Stop forcing yourself to study for 6 hours straight. Your brain is not a machine. Most students focus better in short sessions anyway. Study for 30 or 40 minutes. Take a small break, then repeat. Because consistency matters more than one perfect study day that completely destroys your energy. Another reason students feel lazy all the time is because they're studying in the most exhausting way possible. Most people spend hours rereading notes, highlighting everything, staring at textbooks, and calling it studying. But your brain learns better when it has to remember information, not just look at it. That's why active recall works so well. Instead of rereading the same page 5 times, close the book and try explaining it yourself. Pretend you're teaching someone. Even if your explanation is messy, even if you forget half of it, that struggle is actually helping your brain remember more. You can also use the blurting method. Read a topic once, then write down everything you remember without looking. And honestly, studying this way feels way less boring too, because your brain is actually doing something. So if studying always feels draining, maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe your study method is just making everything harder than it needs to be. And honestly, one of the biggest reasons studying feels impossible now is because our attention spans are completely overloaded. Every app is fighting for your focus. Notifications, short videos, endless scrolling, constant dopamine. Your brain gets so used to fast entertainment that sitting quietly with a textbook suddenly feels painful. And then students blame themselves for not focusing. But focus is a skill, and right now, most of us are training our brains to get distracted every few seconds. That's why one of the best things you can do while studying is make distractions harder to reach. Put your phone across the room. Turn off notifications. Don't study with TikTok open in the background. And most importantly, stop expecting your focus to return instantly. Your attention span heals slowly. Every time you choose to focus for a little longer, you're training your brain again, and eventually, studying stops feeling impossible. But honestly, the biggest mistake students make is thinking consistency means being productive every single day. It doesn't. Some days you'll feel focused, some days your brain will feel completely dead. That's normal. The goal is not to have perfect days all the time. The goal is to avoid disappearing completely, because once you stop studying for a week, restarting feels 10 times harder. So instead of creating a routine that only works when you feel motivated, create a minimum day. A version of studying that's so small you can still do it even on terrible days. Maybe it's revising for 10 minutes. Maybe it's solving 5 questions. Maybe it's watching one lesson. Doesn't matter. The important part is staying connected to the habit, because people who become disciplined aren't always working at 100%. They just never fully stop, and over time, those small days become bigger days. That's how real consistency is. If you've been calling yourself lazy for a long time, maybe you don't need more pressure. Maybe you just need a system that actually works for your brain. Because the students who become disciplined aren't superhuman. They don't magically wake up motivated every single day. They study while tired. They study imperfectly. They have bad days too, but they keep showing up anyway. And honestly, that matters more than being perfect. So stop waiting for the perfect moment to finally change your life. Stop waiting to suddenly become motivated overnight. Start small. Study badly if you have to. Study for 10 minutes if you have to. Just don't disappear from the habit completely. Because small progress repeated over and over again eventually becomes discipline. And one day, the things that once felt impossible will start feeling normal. So yeah, take a deep breath, drink some water, clean your desk a little, and just begin. I'll see you in the next one.